guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I know it's only October when I'm putting this out, but I wanted to share with you my gluten-free Christmas cake recipe. Now, as you can see, I've already tucked into this because I have been photographing it for my blog and the full recipe is in the description down below. But I really wanted to show you guys how easy it is to make your own Christmas cake, which is why I've made this video. So I will be running through everything from how to line your Christmas cake tin, to how to soak your fruits, and then how to put this together and decorate it. I've gone for like a naked Christmas cake look. You can use marzipan and fondant icing, or you can use royal icing as well, but I just really like how this cake looks. I think it looks quite rustic, and it's also the easiest way to decorate a Christmas cake. Now, the reason I'm putting this out there now is because traditionally a Christmas cake is made in November time, and then once the cake is made, you would store it and you would feed it with brandy every 2 weeks, or sherry, depending what you're using. You can also use fruit juice or tea if you don't want the alcohol, but it does kind of probably not need as much feeding then because it doesn't quite react the same way and you don't want a soggy cake. So the idea is that you would make this really far in advance. You can make it up to 2 to 3 months before you actually want to eat it. And then when you decide when you want to decorate the cake, you stop feeding it a week before and then you decorate it and it's ready and it's alcohol soaked and it tastes amazing. So actually this cake is better off made further in advance. Now, if you are making it nearer to the time, that's fine. I made this cake kind of about a week before I actually filmed this video, and it has been absolutely fine. So you can make it, still got that good brandy punch from where I soaked the fruit, but it does get better the longer you leave it. So that's why I'm putting this video out there now, because obviously if you want to eat your cake on Christmas Day, then you probably won't make it till November. But if you want to enjoy your cake throughout December, you're probably going to have to make it now. And I know people are starting to look for Christmas cake recipes, so I'm going to show you how to make this gluten-free Christmas cake for you to enjoy whenever you want, and I really hope you guys enjoy it.
First, I'm going to show you how to line your Christmas cake tin, and you want a 20cm or 8-inch round tin like this one. The first thing you need to do is draw around the bottom of the tin and then cut that out. This is going to form the base of our wrapping. And once you've got that, it's time to cut out the inside of the tin. So the easiest way to do this is to lay out the baking paper and to wrap it around the tin so that you know you've got a long enough piece. Mark where the paper comes to and then cut that bit out. Once you've cut this, then cut it in half, and as you can see, it's a fairly long piece, so we're going to make sure we can do it all in one go. You then want to fold over the very bottom about 1 inch and snip it in little intervals like this. This is going to help it really stick inside the tin. Pop your tin back together and then it's time to grease it. You can use butter for this, or I'm using a spray oil, which is just a little bit easier and less messy. And then as you can see, you want to pop your baking paper around the inside of the tin. This can be a bit fiddly because we want it to be quite tall above the tin. This will stop the cake from burning when it's in the oven. But as you can see, when we cut those bits at the bottom, it helps them to just stick down properly and fold so that there's no exposed bits of tin and our cake won't stick. Now once you've got these bits down, we're going to put a little bit more oil on there and then pop the base of the tin down. Putting the base on top of those folded over bits will just ensure that none of your Christmas cake mixture leaks out the bottom if you've got a slightly leaky tin. And then it's time to wrap a double layer around the outside. So we're going to secure this with a piece of string, which can be a little bit fiddly, and if you've got someone else to help you, that can be really handy. But you basically want to tie this all together nice and tight so that the paper forms a nice insulating layer around the outside of the tin, and this again is going to help us stop the cake from burning. You can use newspaper as well, but I just prefer to use baking paper so that I don't have to keep so much of an eye on it. And there you go, that's our tin done. To make the cake, you first add your butter, and this I've softened slightly so that it's a bit easier to mix. You can do this by leaving it at room temperature or popping it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. I'm also going to add the dark brown sugar. I'm going to add 4 large eggs, and then I'm going to add the treacle, which is going to give our cake a lovely colour to it and also a really rich taste. Now a tip for this, if you don't want your treacle to stick to the spoon, is to oil it slightly before you dip it into the treacle, and it should just slide off. Obviously something I forgot to do. Give this a good mix with your electric mixer just so that it's combined like this. Don't worry if it starts to curdle, because this will be rectified when we start to add our dry ingredients. So once I've made sure all the sides are scraped down, I'm then going to add the dry stuff in. So first of all, we've got our gluten-free flour, and I'm going to sift this to ensure that we don't have any lumps. I've just used the plain free gluten-free flour, but any plain flour blend will do. Next, I'm going to add in the spices, which add that lovely Christmas flavour. So I've got 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then I'm going to add in some nutmeg as well for something a little bit extra special. Give that all another good mix up. You want to ensure there's no pockets of flour and that everything is mixed really well together, so you might need to scrape down the sides of the bowl a couple of times. And once you've done that, we're then going to add in our almonds. So I've got a mixture of ground almonds and flaked almonds. This is to add sort of a combination of texture and taste into the mix. And as we fold them in, you'll see this is starting to come together into a nice thick batter. And then in a minute we're going to add our fruit. Now this fruit should have been soaked for at least 1 to 3 days. The best thing to do is to soak it in some brandy and then add in some orange juice and orange zest, and then you probably want to stir it every sort of day just to make sure it mixes up well. This has been soaking for 3 days, and I'm going to pop this into the cake mix and then give it a really good mix. You can see now the cake kind of becomes almost more like a pudding, and that's essentially what a Christmas cake is. It's a really rich fruit cake packed full of flavour, and this has become really thick and delicious, and it's going to taste amazing. So now it's time to pop it in our tin. Now you'll want to make sure you've got a fairly deep tin for this because there is quite a lot of mix. So I did this in stages by making sure the mixture was pressed down constantly so that I could fit everything in. And then you want to use your spoon or a spatula to smooth it all down so that you get a nice even finish on the top. And then we pop this in the oven for 2.5 hours. It's a long, slow bake, so you might want to keep an eye on it and make sure you don't need to put any foil on top to stop it burning. And once the cake is cooked, you can see I've got a couple of skewer holes where I have tested it. And what I'm going to do, which I didn't film because my camera battery died, is I'm going to just pour a little bit of brandy over the top before I wrap it up and store it away safely. Now you want to feed this every 2 weeks with a bit of extra brandy, and then when you're ready to decorate the cake, don't feed it for at least a week before. So now I'm decorating my cake. I'm going to unwrap it from its little baking paper nest, and I'm going to do a bit of a natural finish on this one. So I'm just peeling off all the lining paper, and I'm going to coat it with some warm apricot jam. So I'm just popping this into a little bowl, which I'll microwave for 10 to 20 seconds just to make sure it's a bit runny. And then you want to use a pastry brush to completely cover the cake with the jam. This is going to ensure that all your decorations will stick. And then I've got a combination of walnuts, I've got cherries, and I've got some blanched almonds. And I'm going to create a pretty design with these, which I think just creates a lovely natural finish, and it just looks really beautiful in the centre of a Christmas table. You can put these in any sort of decoration that you want. I just kind of freestyled it, but I think it looked pretty cool in the end. Of course, if you wanted to, you could use extra things like some more dried fruit. You could do some crystallized lemon and orange slices, or perhaps pecan nuts as well. It's completely up to you, whatever takes your fancy for that perfect festive finish. Once you finish your decorations, you then want to just brush the nuts with a little bit extra jam. This is just going to give them a lovely glossy finish and make your cake look absolutely gorgeous. And look at that, it really is that simple to create this awesome Christmas design. And that's your cake ready to eat. Happy Christmas, everyone!
So there you go, guys, that's how easy it is to make my gluten-free Christmas cake. I really love seeing your recipes, so if you give this a go, please let me know by tagging me on Instagram, or let me know using hashtag the Gluten Free Blogger, and please leave a comment and let me know how you got on, or if you have any questions. I am happy to help. Now, don't forget the full method, ingredients, everything is on the blog, including some step-by-step photos as well as to how to wrap your cake tin, which actually is the trickiest part of this, but even that's easy. So make sure you check out the link in the caption down below. Hit subscribe if you like this video, and I'll be back again with some more tips very soon. Bye!